43-year reign of the speed metal kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage with the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
Wednesday night is here once again, and that means it's time for Auburn Family Night. This is our night every week where you take center stage. Your comments, questions, and topics, and of course, your calls on our live call-in line. Let's get into all those different things in the Auburn experience right now. Well, War Eagle, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk about the Auburn experience. That Auburn experience for you is all about a few things: Auburn sports, Auburn culture, and, of course, Auburn family stuff. And an easier way to say it clearly is, if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining in what we're going to be doing this evening on our live call-in show called Auburn Family Night. Yes, you, the Auburn family, are the stars of the show this evening. There is no agenda. Certainly there is a topic prepared of the big day for Auburn basketball and their roster formation. We're going to get into that in a second. But you pick where we go, how we go, where and what way within the Auburn experience we take this whole thing this evening. So do not be shy. Let us know that you're here by, first of all, smashing the like button, and of course, making sure that you say hello, however you'd like to, War Eagle, announce yourself, and jump on into the chat tonight, or take advantage of our call-in link that is now available for everybody to access. You can start getting in line for that. You click it at the top of the YouTube channel. Should be available somewhere in the comments on Facebook if you want to access that tonight. First of all, we need to thank and acknowledge our sponsor for Auburn Family Night over the last several weeks and months, Barner Supply Co. As you will notice, their logo on our stream here. You'll also notice me wearing this other version of their Barner logo as well, and they have a brand new the classic barn logo that you can now purchase over at barnersupply.com. We hope that you'll go through the link that's provided in the comment section on the description of these particular videos. If you need access to our affiliate link as an affiliate of theirs, please let me know. We'd be happy to let you have that as well, so you can get over there and take advantage of the great gear that Barner Supply has. It's another great Auburn company, and we vouch for them and love what they do in helping broaden the Auburn experience and bring you some great quality products, as you've seen me be wearing every single Auburn Family Night. We'll talk about them more throughout the show this evening. But let's get this show on the road, okay? Let me give you some things to think about. Let me give you some ideas about what may be something to talk about tonight, and then we'll let you steer this ship the direction we want to go, as so many of you are popping in to say hello. Kevin, Tyler, Sam, good to see you guys. Thanks for being here early on the show. Now, obviously, let me talk about the tiger in the room. We don't say elephant in the room here. Tahad Pettiford is back, baby. How good is that? Come on. I mean, seriously, we all got to love that news today. He took his sweet time, and as I warned you, you might want to have prepared for that. So, hey, but we're here on the other side of it. Tahad Pettiford is back for the 2025-26 season. Now, obviously, that is something that we can gush about, talk about, analyze as much as we can today. We won't get overly speculative on too many things like record predictions and things like that. I will try to give you guys a thought process on various formats about who I think might be able to be the starting lineup down the road. But we are just here today reacting to this initial news and processing that before we move into other things like that. Now, let me also acknowledge the other addition today, and that was, I'm going to try to get his name correct, and I'm still learning. I'm trying. I haven't gotten an official pronunciation yet, but it's like Philippe or Philip. It's either Philip or Philippe. I'm going to go with Philippe because it feels right. Jovic or Jovic, one of the two. Philippe Jovic is what I'm going for. So that was an addition today from over in Serbia. A lot of you will know it from Jokic in the NBA, same team, same country. A lot of parallels being drawn there. 6'9" forward coming over to complete the Tigers roster. That started off the day, and then Tahad Pettiford ended the day today. And I would say who knows what else might happen, but it feels like the roster is pretty complete from this point. So there's that. We have a humongous, and I do mean humongous, regional this weekend to be looking forward to. And folks, I'm telling you, it is going to be one heck of a weekend. Whether Auburn wins or not is going to be fun. Rhett Hobart and his team at Auburn are already posting about their temporary structures that they're putting up in current spaces already. That general seats will have, or regular seats, the outfield, to accommodate as many people as possible. That tells me that they are already seeing record ticket sales, and are ready to go for this. So I hope that you are ready for a fun weekend. We're going to be there as in a fan format, but we'll be sharing stuff. I hope that you'll be paying attention to that. Anytime that you, if you are a part of the Cocker Club, you'll be in our Discord and see some potential exclusive things that we won't share everywhere else, but we'll do as much as we can on social media for all of you that want to follow along that way. That's out there. Men's golf ended their run in the NCAA tournament, which is certainly sad, but certainly still a good season. And there's a variety of other things that we can get into. Some interesting topics out there in the space of the Auburn experience. Depends on how wild that you may or may not want to go. But we'll certainly dive into as much as we can this evening. We've got a couple of comments going. We've got somebody already in the hopper for call lines. We'll get to them in just a second. But let's go ahead and address a few of these things that are in the chat already. Tyler says, several people with Auburn gear on at Disney. I have not noticed a single other team. Isn't that funny? It's like somebody is actually ashamed of their team and don't want to sport their colors. Now, trust me, if a Bama fan was there, they would let you know about it and then some, and they would make sure to find a way to insert themselves into an Auburn conversation just to shout RT. But look, I'm glad you're having some hopefully good War Eagle moments, Tyler. I know personally, and I hope that he's not being too shy about it and is going out of his way to say War Eagle to some people. But good to hear while you're on vacation down in Disney. Tyler, if you can get us a picture of you in some Auburn gear down in like a Disney spot, we'll share it out on social media. You have my word, because we want to do the Auburn summer. So I want to give a shout out to Sam. I think this is Sam from TikTok, who has finally made his way over here and is admiring all the things that we do over here. See, I told you there was a whole new world over here on this side of things that you needed to take advantage of. All kinds of content across place. This is why you got to follow everywhere and anywhere that you can the E2C network experience. Okay, Sam also says about Tahad, after his draft scrimmage, I thought he was good as gone. I was really surprised. Yeah, listen, if you're just reading the commentary on social media, and if you're just kind of following what the media is writing about it, you're going to develop a narrative based off of that. And that's why I stressed really for everybody just to hold up a little bit. Everybody started asking the question, obsessing about, is Tahad coming back? Is Tahad just... Why wouldn't you take your time and go the full length and full process and try to let this thing get figured out? Thankfully, it ends up in our favor. I'm not shocked in the least that he took till May 28th. But yes, Sam, I would agree with you that if you follow the conversations online, you certainly could have developed that type of narrative very easily. He also asked, what position does... It's not Felipe, and I probably shouldn't... Philippe, it's spelled P-I-L-I-P-E, I think. But I'm going to learn how to say it eventually and get it right. But he plays forward, or at least that's how he's listed. He's 6'9", 200-something pounds, I think. So depends on where you want to play him. Could be probably a power or a small forward, depending on where he fits into the needs of everybody who's already on the team right now. All right, WT, finally got my Auburn men's basketball Final Four shirt today, and a few minutes later, I heard Tahad is coming back. Isn't that a way to kick it off? I heard several things about that today that, I was just thinking about this, or I was thinking about just writing it off and saying, well, it's been a fun run, and then the news came. I'm surprised with how many people dismissed that it was still not an option for him to come back. I know that's the Auburn mentality sometimes, to get down about these type of things, but folks, let it cook for a minute. Let it cook for a minute. Certainly there's plenty of good things that could come out of waiting. All right, we've got some people lined up in the phone lines already, and you know who's going to kick off most Auburn family nights for us, and that's our good friend, Mr. Kevin. What's going on, sir?
Look at my new shirt.
What you got there? That ain't a shirt. That's a jersey. What you got on there?
Number 9, Deuce Knight.
Deuce Knight. So what are we going to do about Cam Coleman? I mean, he's going to feel like you're cheating on him or something.
I supposed to have number 8 jersey.
Yeah.
But they messed up.
They messed up on it. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you got a jersey. They're looking good on you with the full orange jersey. I see Under Armour is on there. That's the last few things that you can get with Under Armour on it these days. July 1st, the final day. You know, it's funny because I went to the store to change out for something I got for my birthday this weekend, because I love the shirt my mom picked out for me. But I was just sitting there thinking, it's the final days of being able to see Under Armour in the stores.
What kind of shirt was it?
It was just like kind of a slick style Under Armour shirt. It says Auburn Tigers on it, orange. I don't have a lot of that style of shirt that's orange, so it was a very good gift that my mom gave me.
Who is
that guy? They had a little bit too tight. Y'all don't want to see that too much.
Who is that guy we got today?
Well, we got 2 guys technically today.
I know the second one.
Yes, you know about Tahad Pettiford. The second one, his name is either Philip or Philippe Jovic from Serbia. He is a power forward. Jovic or something. I don't know how to say it yet. I will learn how to do it, but it's a nice addition. It was a great way to kick off the day.
I'm glad Pettiford's back.
Yes, we're all glad Tahad Pettiford's back. So many of us are breathing a sigh of relief. Those of us that were panicking about it, I wasn't. Not because that I was secure that he was going to come back. I really saw this as a good thing for Auburn and for him, no matter what happens, because I think Bruce Pearl surely has proven to everybody by now that he will fill whatever role in a very nice way he needs to in whatever situation that he's put in. And if Tahad went high in the draft, that's a great thing for Auburn and for him as well. So I just didn't see too many negatives out of this. I just, maybe that's my old age and me being, all happy about things. I found out I'm getting less cynical as I get older. I'm getting more happy, which is, I guess, a nice change of pace.
I'm proud of the golf team. They made it that far.
Yes, making it to the quarterfinals. Although Kevin, they lost to Virginia, and you know how we feel about Virginia. I think they probably found a way to double dribble in golf. I don't know how you do that. They found some double putt. We'll call it, they double putted, and that's what got the win. Putted. That's what we'll call it today. I mean, it was one of those two things. It was Virginia. Obviously, we were proud of them.
Who won the national championship then?
I'm going to be honest with you. When Auburn's not in it, I check out. I know that's not, I'm not saying that's the way you should be. I would probably say you probably should be still checking in, but to me, once Auburn's out of it, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah, I don't care either.
Yes. I think that's the easiest way for me to do. There's too many other Auburn things to cover.
And I think Auburn will get a commitment either next week or the week after.
Well, it certainly feels like something is due. I mean, technically they got the commitment today from basketball, but I know you're probably talking about football.
Yeah, June 30, somebody supposed to announce where they're going.
Yeah, but that's never a sure thing. Yeah.
But I hope he picks Auburn because
of course.
He's really good.
Well, he's good at the high school level. Just remember that doesn't mean necessarily he'll be great here. And I'm not trying to just cast doubt on things. I think too many times we just assume these guys are going to automatically be exactly who they are on paper or based off stars and arbitrary rankings, but we got to let them get in here. Certainly we get excited about anybody that comes here, no matter what their supposed
who
level
you think
is.
be the player of the year in football for us?
Oh man, it is way too early for that, man. We got to wait a little bit. I know I frustrate so many of y'all because I just don't engage in that as much, but listen, we got to get through summer. Let's at least get to fall practice before we start talking about those things, because we've seen it often there, unfortunately, and I am knocking on every bit of wood I can right now, that nobody gets hurt this summer, that there's no incidents, anything like that. It's just the world that we live in. It just feels like something like that always happens. So when we get a little bit further along, I'll start entertaining some of those thoughts.
Did the new basketball players, did they move in last weekend?
A lot of them, it seems like they moved in either last weekend or just the beginning of this week over the extended holiday weekend, which again, Memorial Day, we thank everybody who's given their lives and those family members in the service of this country. But yes, it does certainly look that way.
How was your Memorial Day?
Great. We got to, I didn't do too much on Memorial Day, but the weekend we got to spend time with family. We usually celebrate my birthday around that weekend just because it's easier. So we got to go out to a pool, go out to the country and hang out a little bit and talk to people. And of course, talk about some Auburn stuff with the family. We're pretty much an Auburn family. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah. You know, we got a few of those rogue people in our family that selected the other side, but we love them anyway, despite that.
Who do you think be the best player on defense?
Keldrick Falk. I can go there with you. Keldrick Falk is
which number is he?
Is he 14?
Oh, 14, yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think it's 14. Somebody in the chat will probably tell me yes or no before the 15. I was close. One off.
Oh, 15, yeah.
I knew he was in the teens, but on this first picture that came up, he's listed at number 15. And I don't believe he changed his number last season, but 15 is what you got there.
And I think DeMarcus Reddick will be good, and Antonio Coleman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got a lot of guys on that team that are either true juniors, true sophomores, and now true freshmen, hopefully as well. But the young group on the defense has really showed out.
Who's the guy who got hurt? Named Champ
Anthony from last year?
Yeah, is he still there?
I haven't really heard a solid update yet, but I would imagine he should be at least getting close to like rehabbing something. I know it was a very bad injury. I think it was broken bones. I'm not a doctor, but I would imagine we've got to be close to something of him doing some sort of physical activity. But that's all I know about it. I don't want to speculate too much.
I can't wait Friday so I can watch Auburn on TV.
Well, you're going to be looking for us there. We'll be there, all right? So you need to make sure you're looking for I'll be wearing my Eagle A hat. I might wear some Barner gear too, now that I have all these nice things.
Where's the Barner gears at?
The Barner gear? This stuff I'm talking about right here. Like this,
right there?
And then the logo down there. That anytime you see those, there's a lot of people who wear them, but making sure I support them as well because they're a great Auburn company. All right. What do you think? Does Auburn win in 3 games or 4 games this week for your final commentary?
4 games.
4 games. So whoever it is takes Auburn down to Monday in that sense, but looks like you think Auburn's going to be victorious?
Yeah.
Sounds good. We'll hold you to it.
And move on to Super Regionals and get to host it.
Hosting Super Regionals. That's what I love to hear, baby. I like that energy, and thank you for getting us started tonight on that, Kevin.
War Eagle.
Always good to hear from you, buddy. Thanks again.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that's Kevin. Our first call tonight. We've already got someone else lined up. We'll get you in just a second, but we'll check back in and see if there was any other commentary we missed. People were loving the Deuce Knight jersey from Kevin. That was from Sam saying that. Certainly, Kevin's already like prepped and ready to go. Corey says, Kyle, have you talked about the Serbian cat Pearl got Perel? I was like, who's Perel? Got Philip Jovic. We've mentioned him. If there's something else about him, Corey, you'd like to discuss, certainly drop that in, and we can dive into that a little bit more forward, 6'9", probably can play a little bit of small and big forward. Versatility is the key when it sounds like Bruce Pearl likes to bring him in. Nice European flair to the roster now. I'm excited to have him as part of the team here today. Ronnie, good to see you celebrating our friend Kevin as one of our supporters here on YouTube. Thanks for stopping in, Ronnie, and hanging out with us some this evening. Sam says, who do we have available at the center position for basketball? Well, it depends on if you run a traditional center, but Janai was the traditional center before this past year, but even then he was kind of a versatile center. So you've got obviously Emeka Oporum in that slot. You have got Keyshawn, I forget how you pronounce it. I think it's just Keyshawn. I'll just say it like that. Murphy from Mississippi State. Those are probably going to be your two primary center guys, I would suspect, that would play that type of role or position. But maybe they play a little bit together. You never know. The roster is not completely set yet, but we'll see how it all works out. But Auburn certainly has rebuilt both the front court and the back court all across the positions, all centered around our good friend Tahad Pettiford. WT says, I would like to know more about the Jovic guy. You should do something like special videos highlighting things like that. Yeah, that'd be a great idea, wouldn't it? Seems like that's something we might do. I have it in the hopper to do that, hopefully before I leave. We're doing our best to get some things covered up here before I head to town for what could be a long extended weekend, but that does seem like it would be a good thing to do. Corey says, just looking for measurables. You just covered it. Okay. 6'9", I think just above 200 pounds. I could just look at it for you here and see if we can pull that up one more time. First spot that I pulled it up on was, I don't think they actually have any weight listed here, but 6'9" is what he was listed as. But anyway, okay. Once again, I want to remind you of our friends at Barner Supply. You see their logo down there, their other logo right here. There's another logo. Please support them. You support us by supporting them. Check out there. And I do want to do one other promotion tonight. Completely, sorry that we're going to throw this in on top of you, but I do want to tell you guys that if you are coming to Auburn, our friends at allthingsauburn.net, you used to see them a lot here down in the crawler for the call-in link reminder. I want to remind you that we still love those guys and we still partner with them in whenever I can work them in on here. But they have some condos and stuff that you can stay at that are pretty reasonably priced. I've stayed in them myself. So if you're coming to Auburn and you need a place to stay for several nights, look them up, allthingsauburn.net. That's allthingsauburn.net. There's Thomas. Thomas got us 225 for Jovic. All right. He's been very patient and he's calling us in from the great white north. So let's say hello to Mr. Brian Fulcher. What's going on, sir?
Not much. How are you, Kyle War Eagle?
I'm excited today. How about you?
I'm very excited. To answer Kevin's question, Oklahoma State is beating Virginia, but it's still ongoing.
How is Virginia still in this? This feels like a travesty. I guess we could have done something about it, but
well, we could do something about it. But just like I rooted for Texas Tech in 2019, I'm full on Oklahoma State at the moment. So
yeah,
golf is my niche sport that I follow in a big way.
Yeah, I figured you definitely wouldn't have checked out. And I shouldn't say I check out. It's just it goes lower in my priority of things that I start paying attention to.
And I don't know how you feel, but when my team loses in the game to go to the championship, I care less about that championship game than I did. Like, it was hard to watch the championship game of March Madness this year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because that should have been us. It was hard to watch Florida and Houston. Great game, and I watched it, but my interest level went way down after we lost in the semis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then when you start playing the what-if games, you know that you played Houston at essentially a home game for them. At least this would be more of a home game for them than us.
And it wasn't that the trip we had to turn the plane around? I mean, it was all kinds of weirdness.
All kinds of weirdness. So we overcame all that adversity and still beat them. So you kind of go, well, yeah, we could beat them, but then you saw the roaring comeback they made against Duke. Same thing with Florida and made it a game. And you're like, well, you might have got out of the way of a Houston team that was just finally finding itself completely at the very end. And they were a good team all year, but it does make it difficult to watch when you're not there.
Yeah. I mean, the options at the moment are I can watch the end of this or I can watch my Timberwolves just get destroyed by OKC. I mean,
I did see you posted about your Timberwolves. I'm sorry, it's been a tough run for Minnesota.
Well, you know,
even though, but you're in the playoffs, so that's a good thing.
Well, we're in the Western Conference Finals for the second year in a row. I mean, this isn't Minnesota calling night, but I'll just say this: we're the longest. How do we phrase this? Of cities that have the 4 core men's sports, we are the longest running drought of not even making it to the championship series game, whatever you want to call it. Not making the Super Bowl or the series for all the other sports.
Yeah.
It's absurd. 1991, last time we played in a championship series. So
yeah.
And won it, but weird.
Let me take what you're just saying there, since you are at least a fan, definitely a fan, but at least somewhat informed on that team, and talk about where Janai might go, because there's a lot of talk about that. Does Minnesota need someone like Janai or no?
So I will confess this. I will confess that I am much more of a college basketball fan than an NBA fan. So I am all about college basketball until Auburn's eliminated, March Madness is over, and then I bandwagon the Wolves if we're good. I'll just freely own that.
That's fine.
But yeah, I think Janai could fit there. Yeah, I guess it all depends what happens with some of our free agents, like Mike Conley and those guys. But yeah, I think Janai could be a definite fit. I think he'd be a fit on almost any team, wouldn't he? He's so good.
Yeah, he's versatile.
And he's lean, and or not lean, but long, I was trying to say.
Right. He's built in such a way that he's not going to get shoved around. He might be a little bit, less smaller than a traditional center in that, but he can play the power forward. He can shoot. He can dribble. He can distribute the ball. So he's got a lot of tangibles. And so that makes me very hopeful for his opportunities here at the next level.
I feel like he can play off ball really well. Rudy Gobert's had a brutal series for us this against OKC, and I keep thinking that we traded Walker Kessler for Rudy, and I'm thinking, well, maybe Walker would have been better. But.
This is from Sam. He says, I think Broom could fit or could go to the Celtics and play similar to an Al Horford role.
That makes sense.
I know the name, but I'm not familiar enough to know if that's a nice fit.
I don't either. But like I said, I bandwagon the NBA if my Wolves are good this time of year. So I did back in the mid '90s have season tickets, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, so yeah, Oklahoma State's taking care of business against Virginia, but I wouldn't say it's done yet, but it's getting close. Yeah. That said, do we just call this guy the Joker Part 2, or what do we call him? I mean, would that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's gonna need a nickname. He's gonna need a nickname.
We probably will lean heavily on that. I hope that we can get a little bit more creative, although that we will go for the low-hanging fruit, Janai Broom, and did the sweep thing and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So
we'll just do it, right? Yeah.
Sometimes you can overthink things, right? Well, but the jungle is pretty good and pretty creative, so I'm sure they can come up with some stuff.
I don't feel any pressure that you and I have to come up with it. Those kids will take care of it for us.
I tried to make my nickname for Chad Baker Mazara stick the physicist, and nobody would run with it.
The physicist. I kind of like, like candlestick maker playing off of that kind of vibe. But yeah.
Yeah, the only name that stuck for him was Chad Bacon Lasagna or something like that.
Oh, really?
That was a misspeak by a announcer, and then these jungle took it and ran with it. So
well, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
So there we are. What was the other one that I was going to ask you about? Oh, I missed last week, and I don't want to bring it back up because it is the low-hanging fruit thing. But the Hugh Freeze comment about the bowl game and all that stuff. I don't really care to relive all that. But I will say this. I do think as basketball's had the success that they've had, and teams like the baseball team, the golf team, I don't know how track and field did today, but I know that they were preliminaries. Is that where they were today?
Preliminaries today, and that a couple of individuals went. So really it depends on how many individuals we send, whether you got a shot at a national title. Men's track and field, in my opinion, would be the one that's going to have the best amount, the most amount to get there to compete. Like last year when they came within points of winning the national title.
Yeah, men's. I remember that. Yeah.
So that's kind of where my summary of my tertiarily paying attention to it.
But I guess this is my thought / I want your opinion.
Yeah.
As those, I mean, certainly basketball is not a secondary sport, but in theory, we were a football school.
Sure.
And these other sports continue to have all the success. Mm-hmm. Does that put more pressure on the sport in
Yeah.
the to succeed, and then
Oh,
not
yeah.
be you just can't be middle of the pack, can you?
Oh, 100%. When you
Okay.
have not only your rivals succeeding in that sport, but you also have the other teams doing it. And to be honest, sometimes they're not fair comparisons. I mean, because it's a different game,
No.
it's a different time, it's a different place at where they find in their space in the game. There's different. Certainly NIL has changed all college athletics, but it affects all
No.
differently. There's not millions of dollars being spent on track and field, unfortunately,
Or golf, right? Yeah.
or golf. Well, most of that, maybe this is an unfair assumption, but I would assume a lot of golf guys come from a little bit of financial stability. Is that a fair assessment? It's kind of like equestrian. I do know that for a fact. There's a lot of that. What would you say about that?
I would think, yeah, I think there's a fair generalization. Yeah,
It's a generalization, and I don't want to go too
and
far
it's true.
with it.
I'm sure it's true. Yep.
But it's like with equestrian, you have to be able to afford horses, or at least the ability to go do practices and lessons with them. So thus, you've got to have the stability to do that. So
to get to that level of golf, you have to be able to afford
yes.
equipment, teachers.
So my point is this. Yes, I do think that everything's different, and you need to be careful with those comparisons. But how can you not compare what's going on campus, the successes for men's track, for baseball, for men's basketball, for equestrian, for all of that, and go, well, what's going on with our cash cow,
And you just said it isn't a fair comparison, and I agree. It's not fair.
Yeah,
but it's still reality.
It is reality. Yes, I agree.
And I would think that, and we all know boosters are so rational, and those kinds of people. I mean,
Let me ask you a question. You probably heard me say this before, but I'm curious if you would agree. Do you consider anyone that supports the university and AKA the athletics department in any way, spends a dime on them, a booster?
By definition, probably. I mean, I don't know the NCAA definition, but
right.
I don't think you're a booster if you go and buy. Are you a booster if you go and buy a ticket to a game? I don't know.
Yeah,
that's not who we're talking about.
Yes, I know that's not who we're talking about.
Yeah,
but I just got. I think about this all the time, and I'm like, technically, we all are boosters, aren't we?
Well, I remember very clearly going to an Auburn game, 2006, 2007, somewhere in there, and like in the program reading the definition of a booster, like basically them saying like, be careful, what you're doing. I don't think I made that up. I'm pretty sure I remember reading that like in the program or something. But
well, just so you know, we got a lot of people taking offense to my golf analogy earlier. In good faith. WT Dalton said, speaking as a poor golfer, I take offense to that, Kyle. Sam agrees with me. He said it's part of why I suck at golf is because those lessons are expensive. And then WT said, speaking as a non-golfer, I take offense to most things Kyle says, but that's just generally.
Well, that's understandable. Yeah.
Yes,
but, I mean,
right.
that's WT.
I mean, I take offense to what I say, and it's coming out of my mouth.
I don't take offense to what you say, but I take a lot of offense to what WT says, and I'm just kidding when I say that. But no, I think that, I mean, you're a booster. I mean, like, gosh, I've spent a lot of money on Auburn in my life.
Yeah.
I probably don't meet the literal definition, but I mean, I bought a lot of plane tickets. I bought a lot of game tickets. I've contributed to Tigers Unlimited or Unto Victory, all those things. I mean, I guess that makes you a booster, right?
Yeah, I guess so. We'll just have to start kind of retooling how we think about those things and talk about those
Well,
things.
we should. I mean, well, let me ask you this question, and I'll let you move on. Like, do you think, I feel like so much is made of NIL. Mm-hmm. Does the guy that gives $150, $200 a year to your school to Onto Victory, does that, I think that matters because they all add up. What do you think?
Ask it to me again, because I'm thinking about how I want to answer this, just so I can make sure I understand.
So I think everybody thinks about the Charles Barkleys of the world who give millions of dollars, right?
Yes.
Legally or illegally, as he said that, which is just hilarious. But does the collective, I mean, the 50, 60, 70,000 other people who each give $200 a year, does that make a difference, or is it just a big donor game? For your school to be competitive, not for you to have influence.
It wouldn't. It has to matter, or else it wouldn't be happening. the question is, I guess, and more digs into what you're asking, how much does it matter?
Well, so again, coming back to where I live, I hear people complain up here, oh, the Gophers can't compete with NIL. We don't have big donors, which is just absurd. On its face. We have more, that doesn't matter. But like my same friends, they won't give a dime to Dinkytown Collective. And I'm like, well, do something. I mean, if enough of you give money, it matters. Like I said, it has to matter. Otherwise, I wouldn't see all these appeals from Hugh Freeze and Bruce Pearl and whoever else to give money.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a good question. I'd have to think about that one for a little bit.
All right, I'll think about it. I mean, you don't have to answer me right now. But anyway, I just think I hate the idea that it's all just about big money. I mean, obviously something has to change, and we're not going to solve that right now, but no one's listening to us anyway.
Who says we're not going to solve the world's problems here on Auburn Family Night?
Well, we could, man. We could.
That's why we do this.
All right, War Eagle. But you are a year older and a year wiser, so happy birthday, belated.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I will not agree with the wiser part, but I will agree with the older part.
It sounds like you're wiser. You're finding happiness in old age, and not a lot of us do that.
Well, for now I am. How about that?
All right. I'm in. War Eagle.
Hey, good to hear from you, Brian. Always good. Yep. All right. We got another caller already lined up. We'll get you in here in just a second. Let's see if there's anything we missed in our chat while we were going. Sam was expounding upon what Brian was talking about there. I wonder if most of the donations come from Charles Barkley or the Charles Barkleys or the 50 to 200. That's a good question. It'd be interesting to know those figures, wouldn't it? I don't know that we're going to get to know those. I guess somebody could run the math here and estimate how many people are onto victory situation and take the average amount to get in and then total that up and then put it to what an average mega donor booster does and then potentially see what it does. I got to think at a place like Auburn, it pushes you over the edge or back into competition with some of the bigger players with definite money, such as the Texases and the Texas A&Ms. Now that I'm kind of thinking on a little bit more with what Brian brought up, but yeah, it's an interesting thought to bring about here. So we had some shade being thrown at Austin here. Austin being a fan, I take offense to all the bad luck he gives us to the WT. Says, I can't in good faith paint Austin with that after last year. He was undefeated in attendance last year. Perhaps it skips a year. So you're telling me that this year Austin can't attend a single game if we're going by that. That is a scary thing because I just confirmed, and he confirmed on the show last week, that he's moved his seats for football season this year. So Austin, according to our audience here, you cannot attend any football games or anything this year, if I'm understanding our processes of all of these things right now. Sam says Kyle is only happy in his old age because it's not football season yet. No, I'm happy even during football season when they don't necessarily do good. How about I should say this? It's not that I'm happy they're not doing good. I just find joy in many other things, so that doesn't drown any of it. And maybe that's a wrong way to look at it. I don't know. That's just me, though. All right, let's get our next caller on the line. He's been very patient as well. I think it's time to go to school. What's going on, Thomas? Good to see you.
War Eagle, y'all. How y'all doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Seems like we got a very good and lively chat tonight. So I think everybody's in good moods. It's the off season, so why wouldn't you be? Nothing to be upset about.
That's right. And happy birthday to you, sir. What are you, 37?
Wow, very, very close. I'll take 37. 38 actually, but I'll take 37.
Well, I will be 37 in the middle of this football season, so I feel you, man. Welcome to knee pain.
Yes, it's tough getting old, and some of these things. Not to be TMI right now, but I am wearing a compression sock right now to nurse something that I have to get taken care of later on this summer. So the old age is setting in.
It happens to the best of us, and it happens to the rest of us, my man.
But some of us, it just gets a little bit more than others. Anyway, they don't want to hear me complain about my old age any longer here. What you got tonight for us?
Man, I want to kind of bounce off what Brian was saying with the money thing and the NIL.
Yeah.
I definitely think buying a shirt at Walmart does less for the university than contributing directly to On to Victory.
Yes.
So I think it all adds up. Ticket sales add up, concession stands, everything that you spend at the university or on the grounds adds up. But I think directly donating to a collective
Yes.
is going to mean more and going to bring more. We do have that glorious pressure treated pine that's keeping us in business. We've got the Charles Barkley. We've got a lot of the General Burgesses. We've got all that going. I think the more that we give directly to the programs, it is going to mean more. And there are certain collegiate programs like you mentioned equestrian.
Yeah.
Some of the smaller, I don't want to demean anyone, but smaller sports, you may be on scholarship, but you're required to provide what you need to continue those sports. So that's difficult for those athletes. But the more that overall goes to the university through NIL sports programs on to Victory, I think the better overall it is. Now, certain sports are going to get more money. That's just how it is. But I think it's, I can go to Walmart and buy an Auburn shirt, and I'm really not helping much. But if I buy from J&M Bookstore, I'm probably helping a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think I was going to go that way with supporting not just the university, but the town, but our purposes of our conversation about what helps ultimately athletics and further the goals of that through collectives, through things like that. Maybe this isn't a good way to think about this, and maybe some kind of the thought process that we're going through, Brian. When you go to a collective, that money is allotted towards something specific, I would think, namely the student athletes. When you buy a t-shirt, when you buy a ticket, you are supporting the services of the athletic department, paying for the collective of what it takes to run an athletic department rather than the specific what it takes to fill an athletic department, which is a bunch of athletes. So maybe that's is that a fair assessment of what I'm trying to put together there about how that breaks down and how we support and what level booster you are?
No, I think so. I mean, it takes, to put it very simply, it takes a village to raise a child. So everybody doing their part, no matter what it is going to help. The more branding we have, the more recognition we're going to get. That's a good comment, WT, University of Arkansas.
Woo pig,
Don't,
huh?
don't worry. I avoid Walmart like the dadgum plague.
Well,
can't stand that place.
Well, there goes my Walmart sponsorship. So thank you for that. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's okay. It's okay. There's still Publix. It's still Publix.
Okay, we'll work with them. You're good.
Now, let's touch on basketball. I guess it was maybe about 11 o'clock this morning. I got tidbit of information said we're pretty sure Tahad's coming back. So I'm very excited about that. I'm glad he's here, but I'm going to pronounce it Jokic.
Yeah,
he's Serbian, correct?
Serbian, yes, and I believe the same team that Nikola Jokic. God, I can't pronounce things. It's going to be a struggle. Have y'all ever tried to watch me pronounce some of the track and field athletes' team names? Like it's nothing on them. It's all on me, just not being able to talk, which is ironic since I talk for a living now.
Hey, I get it, man. But I mean, 6'9", roughly 225, 224. I mean, what's a pound? But I think it's a great get for us. It really is. I think he's going to play well outside. I think he's going to play well inside for us. I watched a little bit of film today, not enough that I'm not an expert. I'm just a nerd, y'all. But, I think we still need that definite big man. And like you said earlier, it depends on what kind of a scheme you're playing. But I really want us to have that 7'1" guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine you're underneath the net, can you imagine it being 7'1", 6'9", 6'10", 6'8"? Like having that size.
Sounds great.
Like that, the range that you have with arms that long and bodies that big. And touching on Tahad, look, I want him to go pro. I do. I want that for him. I want that for Auburn. But the dude's 6'1". How many six? What's the average NBA player's height? Like 6'7"?
It's at least got to be 6'6", 6'5", a tall 6'5". I think you're probably closer to it than that, but with that 6'7". But yeah. It's no shock because we see people like Kevin Durant, who is traditionally a big man, but can dribble like a guard. So you're right. There is something to this height thing, but I think you can overcome that. But it's maybe rare. You see the Muggsy Bogues, you see what was his Jason Richardson, I think, was pretty short, if I remember, for the
I think he was
Warriors.
like 5'11", maybe
something like that. And there was a couple other players that I can see their faces and see what they look like compared to everybody else. Spud Webb's a great one, but there's still another one out there. But the point is this, right? There's something to this height, the situation. So I think probably and maybe this is where you're going with Tahad in the draft. Yeah, your body of work looked really great. You don't meet those measurables as much. So we got to see just another year of this for us to give you that full guarantee that you're looking for. We're ready to take it and help you grow and learn. And let's be honest, the kid's a true freshman. I know most of your growth is already done, but there's still a little bit that can happen there. And who knows? What if we just list him at 6'2" this year? Who's going to know?
I mean, that's what you do in college, because every time anybody gets drafted, they're 6'2", 245, and they get to the draft and they're 6 foot 3/4 and 236 and an eighth.
Yeah.
You know, it matters to the pros.
Yeah,
you know, everybody in college is listed as bigger than they actually are.
Right.
Everybody in high school is listed as bigger than they actually are, because you want to look at that roster and go, man, they're kind of stacked. But when it comes to the pros, with all these billions of dollars on the line, they want to know exactly how long your hand are, which finger is fatter than the other, which finger have you broken multiple times. They want to know all that.
Yeah.
So it really does matter what your measurables are going to the next level. And I don't have a problem with it. It's why these guys are pros. It's why they're in the leagues. So him at 6'1" and like 175, look, he's not going to grow any taller, but he's going to have to put out a really impressive body of work to be able to go to that next level and get drafted high and stay there. And, you know, I don't want him to get drafted and have to go to a separate league or something like that to prove himself.
Right.
So I think another year in college, and he's also NILs at play. So he might be getting more money this year staying in college than he would going and playing in Japan, East Angola, some other name a country where they have a developmental team.
Well, I guess he could have gone and taken the spot of Jovic or however it's said, who we just took, you know, if you wanted to play that angle. But
I'm just going to call him Big J.
Big J. I love it. We fixed it. So for those of us that struggle with talking, ironic again, and acknowledge that it's the podcast host saying that, but Big J, I love that. And that's great. I love it. Good call here tonight, Thomas, with that one.
I'm just making it simple for myself.
All right, let's round out the call. Anything else football you're thinking about, or I know it's summer, but anything else in your mind?
Thinking about football? Are you kidding me? I'm always thinking about football.
I know, but is there something pertinent, top of mind right now that you're thinking about, or anything?
Defensive line rotation and depth. We need to get, Keldrick Falk is primed and ready if he has a great season to go pro. So we need to have quality reps at the edge position. We need to have good depth on the interior. We need to alleviate pressure off of the linebackers that are very young.
Yep.
And that also will alleviate pressure off of the secondary that is still fairly young. We brought in some good transfers, but they have to gel. So for the first 5 games of the year, the defensive line has got to be absolutely brick wall solid. They've got to know their assignments. They've got to get to where they're supposed to be, and they got to hand fight like crazy. They need to do their job so efficiently that deficiencies, I can't talk neither, behind them we don't see them. They need to be real solid those first 5 games so everybody else can gel, get used to playing with each other, and we can be effective later on in the year and win ball games.
Yeah. It's funny. It's almost like other people think this. I harp all the time. It begins and ends with the offensive and defensive line. So last week we spent time talking about the offensive line. Makes sense that that's where your focus would be this week. And let's be honest, it's probably going to shift back and forth each week, if not focusing on them at the same time. And I truly believe that, if Auburn can shore those 2 things up, we are putting skill position pieces, not to say that those positions aren't skilled, around them that are going to begin to flourish more and more, whether that's on the offensive side of things with the wide receivers, because your quarterback's protected more, feels more secure, doesn't get into bad habits, make more mistakes, whether that's because your linebackers are able to be a little bit more, have more opportunities to break through and make plays, rush the quarterback on the other side and force them into errant throws, which some of these DBs that really showed out last year can take advantage of with that athleticism. It all flows together.
Exactly.
I'm just telling you, you know it. I'm just preaching to the choir here, I know, but it begins and ends with those lines.
Yeah. Before the ball snapped, where's the ball? Right in the middle of the line, between the center. What's either side of him? The A gap. That's where grown men are made. That's where football starts. It's at the line of scrimmage where the ball is.
Yep.
Nothing happens until the ball snapped unless it's pre-snap penalty, but that's where it starts.
Right.
So if you can dominate there, you have a great advantage over the other team if you can dominate before the ball is snapped, exactly where everything happens.
Yep. I agree. It's very simple, and sometimes it doesn't feel like it should be that simple. But sometimes the best answer is the easiest answer. And there you are. It's easy to point it out. It's obviously clearly not easy to fix it, as we have been talking about for one position over the last several years. This is the year. This is the year. This is the year it happens. You and I are going to be praising the offensive line. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. You and I are going to be giving them good grades all year long. I'm just going to say it.
It dadgum better be.
I know, man. I know. Well, any final thoughts before we round out tonight?
That's going to be all, y'all. War Eagle, y'all have a good evening. Hope y'all had a great Memorial Day.
Always good to hear from you, buddy. Thanks for taking us to school.
Y'all have a good one.
All right, War Eagle. All right, we still got time for another caller, maybe a second one if we can make them quick. But we're sitting at about 51 minutes on the stream here. We usually run to about 10, but we can carry on over if you'd like to. Carry on Johnson over. So don't be shy. If you'd like to give it a shot, we've got some new people here this evening. It's not that difficult. You just hit the link up at the top. You don't have to be on. You saw two examples of that tonight. You can be on camera or off camera. No shame in either one. Sometimes it's just easier to not be on camera, but you have the option to do that. You click the link, choose if you want to be on camera or not, and should be able to access that on Facebook too. Pop on in, even if you just want to say hello, test it out. That is available for you exclusively on Auburn Family Night. Once again, I want to thank our friends at barnersupply.com. You can see their main logo here in the stream with me. You can see the hat that I'm wearing. They also have the good old classic barn logo they just debuted and are going to be shipping out, I think. And in fact, I should bring this up because I had this available to me on June for the pre-orders, June 3rd. So what, 6 days away at this point? 5 days away, 30 days in June. 30 days and 31 days in May, so 6. It doesn't matter, Kyle. Don't do math on the air. That's tough. That's a tough way to show that I can't do math. At least I wasn't on camera for that one. But there you go. The pre-order is available right now, barnersupplytoco.com. But please do use our affiliate link that's in the description. That's in the letter heading for all of this stuff. If you need that, please utilize. That's our affiliate link, and it helps show Barner Supply Co. that we are valuable asset to them. We love working with them. We want to continue to do so. Now, there's that. Let me give you a couple other reminders as you guys think about some other topics to bring up and questions and comments here. Obviously, the next scheduled show is going to be Auburn Experience Podcast live recording, episode 127. Now, keep in mind, folks, I'm going to be in Auburn this weekend for the regional. Already talked about that, so things could get a little bit different depending on what happens this weekend. Maybe we have to bump it up to a midday stream from campus. Maybe not. We'll see. So you guys just be on standby, wait for that, and we will keep you updated as best we can. But the watch page is already made on YouTube. Be looking for that right now, Sunday at 9 Eastern time. I am toying with the idea of potentially doing some post-game streams for the baseball games this weekend. However, that is not a guarantee quite yet. So please just kind of stand by for that, but be thinking about that. Certainly you'll see a watch page go up, or we may make an announcement or something like that on social media. Probably won't on Friday just because it'll be the experiment day in terms of seeing if I can go out. There won't be an early announcement for it. So you'll just need to be subscribed on YouTube, especially to make sure that you have the opportunity to be a part of those shows. Okay, there's your reminders. Last call for a call tonight. If you want to get in, had some great callers this evening. Always great to hear from you guys. Brian approved of our Big J and nickname. Credit to Thomas for Jovic or however we're going to say it. And once again, I'm going to butcher it even when I learn how to say it. It's just the nature of being who I am. I want to bring this up because this is just poetic justice right here for so many things, not just the fact that Virginia beat Auburn in men's golf in the quarterfinals. Let's just point this out, though. OK State just defeated Virginia. This was during the show, but wanted to point that out. Tim also pointed it out this way. Virginia double bogeyed. Apparently, if that's true, their double dribble came back to bite them. That's what you get when you dip in for double too many times, Virginia. Sorry. So lots of laughter going on at their expense for that one, too. This was from Sam earlier in the stream. Do you think it would be beneficial if people knew exactly what they were donating towards? This was talking about NIL. Like I could choose to donate directly to baseball or baseball. I think you probably meant basketball or something like that. But either way, yes. But how about this? If you go to the official NIL store online and buy the jersey with the name on the back, you know who you're donating to, thus what sport you're donating to. So that is a direct way for you to get that right there. It is a great question, Sam, but that's kind of already been answered. But maybe there does need to be a little bit more transparency. The problem is there's not enough cohesion, direction for how this is supposed to be run right now, and that hopefully is going to be changing in the very near future. What else in the chat do we have? Anything else here? Corey said, just think about the evolution of sports. Basketball started with a peach basket hanging from a tree and where it's gotten to now. Yeah, if you know the history of basketball, that's an interesting thing to think about that. Corey says we need to get Kyle up to 6K subs before the football season starts. Yeah, so we did that whole like subscriber drive thing that really caught on fire there for a little bit when we were trying to get to 5,000, but it really slowed down once we got to like 4,200. And so I kind of lost my desire to do those things again. So if you guys want to get that campaign going, please do. We're not too far off. I think 47? No. What am I saying? 56, 5,600, something like that. I can't remember. I haven't looked at it in a minute. Believe it or not, I don't obsess about that every day, but it is still something that we'd love to do to continue to grow what we have here at E2C Network. And this is a good time that if you've got friends and families you haven't introduced, and to be honest with you guys, it's get them here, yes, let them just see and experience it, but also encourage them to try to come back on the regular, because that's what builds the habit. And some of you that have now just become staples here in our chats and stuff, because you've been here a lot and built that muscle memory. Corey, I don't know, the comment feels a little blasphemous, so we're not going to address it, but I appreciate the sentiment behind it. You still need to go to church, but I'm not going to force you to. It's your life. But certainly, I'm glad that you all enjoy Wednesday night shows. And to be honest with you, it seems like the Wednesday night switch from 8 to 9 has gone pretty well for the most part. I don't think that we're missing too many of our regulars here. I know for some of you that it's a little later than you prefer, but I think it's working out well, and we'll do our best to adjust in the future if we need to, but I hope it's not been too much of a burden on those of you. St. Loomis? Ugh, I don't like the sound of that. Way too much live math during this stream. Yeah, I don't know what's worst. I was about to make a joke about me speaking, and then I misspoke. I don't know what's worst. I don't know what's worst. Me struggling to speak here on the show, or watching me struggle to do math on the show. You take your pick. The point of this is that when you come to Auburn Family Night, yes, you get Auburn stuff, but you just watch Kyle struggle. That's the real joy and beauty of what we do here. So if you missed out on that, I'm sorry. You got to come next time. There you go. That's how we do all this thing. All right. Final comments, questions, topics. Get them in now. Get them in fast. Get them in while it's hot. It is 10 o'clock and about time for us to wrap up here. If we want to hit anything rapid fire, we hit everything this evening. We hit Tahad Pettiford, Big J, as we're calling him now, Jovic, Big J, as is being dubbed. Football, baseball, golf. We talked equestrian. We talked track and field, all the stuff. We talked NIL. We solved all the world's problems. We got into it all tonight. WT says worst could be comparing to. Worst would be 3 or more. When you can't talk good and you ain't even had a drink. That's a bad place to be, isn't it, Thomas? All right, folks. Thanks for hanging out tonight. You guys have been great. I'll look forward to seeing you on the next Auburn Family Night. But if not, before then, the Auburn Experience live podcast recording on Sunday evening, maybe some post-game streams for baseball. Be very open and flexible to that this weekend as I'll be on campus. Follow us everywhere to stay up with coverage from the Auburn Regional for the NCAA baseball tournament. Going to be doing a lot of things this weekend and having a lot of fun sharing the Auburn experience with you all. Thank you guys so much for being here and being part of our little family within the Auburn family. Till I talk to you again, War Eagle.